Hello and welcome to another screencast from the London Metropolitan University. My name is JD, and today this screencast is aimed at tutors who have created a test in WebLearn and now want to make the test available to their students and need to know what the options are. For specific recommendations for tests such as summative and formative tests, please go into WebLearn and log on to the Help tab, click on the Online Submissions and Feedback area, where you'll find information for specific types of tests. This screencast is just to show you what the options are. Okay, let's begin. After you've created your test in WebLearn, you need to then deploy or make the test available to the students after you have set the test options. To be able to make the test available to students, what you need to do is to go into the online assessment area and then hover your mouse over Assessments. Go down to Tests and click on Tests. The page that you see should include all of the tests that you've created on the module that have not been made available to students as yet. So choose the test that you want to make available. In this case, it's called Test 1, and click Submit. Here, you should see the name that you gave the test originally. And please, when you're naming the test, do not use any special characters in the test. Only use alphanumeric characters. Beneath the name of the test, you should find the description that you gave the test. Please note that this description appears with the test link. You then have the option to show the test description to the students, which you should do, and also to show the instructions. Bear in mind that the instructions are only shown to the students once they've clicked on the link for the test. Open the test in a new window, and you must make the test available to the students. Underneath that, you have the option to send an announcement out to everybody on the module to let them know that a new test has been made available. Underneath that are the number of attempts you want your students to be able to have to take the test. By default, it is a single attempt. If you want to allow multiple attempts, you select multiple attempts, and you can state the number of attempts you want them to have as well. If you pick multiple attempts, you must decide which one of the attempts must be entered into the grade center. Forced completion means that the learner must take the test in one sitting and complete the test before the marks are submitted to the grade center. One disadvantage of using forced completion is if the student is bumped out of the test, for instance, if they have a power cut or they hit the back button on the browser, then the test will be automatically submitted to WebLearn, and the only recourse is for the student to take the test again from the beginning. You can set a timer for the tests and state the number of minutes that you want the student to have the actual test. Please bear in mind that all summative tests must be invigilated, and the time must be kept by the invigilators. If you decide to click Auto Submit, what will happen is that when the time is up, the assignment will be automatically sent to WebLearn. The timer does give the students a countdown when there's 5 minutes left and when there's 1 minute left. If you leave Auto Submit off, then it will be down to the student to submit the test, but the test will be marked as going over the time. You select when you want the test to appear and when you want the test to disappear. You can also give a password for the test. Please bear in mind that the password is case sensitive. If you want to give a user or a group exceptions to the test, what you would do is click on the link and then choose the individual user or group that you want to give an exception to. Once you have selected them, click Submit. And here you were allowed to change the number of attempts that they can have. You can also change the number of minutes. You can also choose the auto submit as well. If I had chosen forced completion earlier, then the exception can also be applied to the forced completion option. Underneath that is the due date. If you put a due date for the test, you can allow students to take the test after the due date, but it will be marked as late. Or you can choose not to allow students to take the test after the date has passed. The self-assessment options should be left as they are. Underneath that, you decide how you are going to give feedback to the students for the test. You have a couple of options. You can choose to give feedback for the tests after they have submitted, but only be able to see it at that time, on a specific date, after a due date, after an end date, or after all attempts are graded. And the type of feedback you give them can be restricted as well. You can give feedback to all the answers, feedback to just the correct answers they gave, or feedback for all of their submitted answers. You can decide to show them the feedback, and you can decide to show the feedback for the incorrect questions. Bear in mind, if students are taking the test at a later date, you don't want to show any students the correct answers to the test. You then have some secondary options, so you can show them feedback, for instance, after submission, and you can decide to show them only the feedback for the correct answers, and at a later date, you can then decide to show them all the feedback if you so wish. Underneath that is the test presentation. We advise to display each question one at a time, because what that means is every time the student moves to the next question, the answer to the previous question is automatically saved. You can prohibit backtracking. This is useful for when the results for one question will affect the results of another question and you don't want the students to backtrack to be able to find the answer. You can randomize the questions as well. When you are happy with all the information you have given for the test, click Submit. You will be taken back to the content area where you created the test, and you should then find the test at the bottom of the list. Please click on the test to make sure that the test is behaving in the way that you think that the test should behave and all of the instructions are available. Click Begin and take the test, and just to make sure that the results that you're getting for the test are as you designed. Thanks for watching the information on the test options in a Blackboard WebLearn test. If you require any more information or have any queries on this screencast or assessments in general, please contact the ICT Service Desk at londonmet.ac.uk with your query, and someone there will be able to answer it for you. Thanks very much for your attention.